All right, so this build, this is the video we're about to start recording. It's a budget 4070 PC. Now, when we say budget, it's still going to be $1,200, but $1,200 for a 4070 with everyone wanting the 40 series features. We got the 12400F, we got everything. We're basically just seeing what is the cheapest 4070 PC we put together that makes somewhat sense, and this is what we're looking at.
I mean, hey, you could go cheaper. You could go 12 Gen i3 if you wanted to.
You could. You go
you
free
could go
with
stock cooler, no sleeve cables. So I think you could still, like, I'm not gonna say reasonably, but you know.
Because even then, I think with the sleeve cables after tax, it's under 12. I rounded up a little bit. Yes, after tax, it's actually no. After tax, it is 12. But before tax, it's $1,186. Yeah, you can save it. Only the thing is, it's funny. The sleeve cables and the cooler only add another $24. So
cheap. How the heck did you get them that cheap?
It was like a discount on the cooler. It was running like a $14 or $15 thing, and then the cables were like something like that. I don't remember. Maybe that's not even right. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I was like, normally these sleeve cables I thought were like $25, $30, but
considering my 3070 RTX bill was $1,500, this is great.
How's it going, guys? Jack and Matty with the ToastyBros, and today we're going to be partying together a $1,200 RTX 4070 gaming PC.
And this build was made possible by our friends at Newegg. Big shout out to Newegg for sponsoring this video. They want us to showcase this awesome Asus TUF RTX 4070 that has the awesome new features that come with the 40 series of graphics cards, and also it's incredibly power efficient, which is one of the reasons why we like this GPU. Go to Newegg today to build this gaming PC and many other gaming PCs by using the links in the description down below. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to dive into the graphics card, talk more about it, and also the rest of the parts for this build, because we're trying to get this thing as cheap as possible without making any crazy compromises and still have somewhat of an upgrade path to work well in the future. And I think you're going to be pretty impressed with how this build turned out. So let's talk about each individual part and how it makes up this build.
So for the CPU, we have the i5 12400F 6-core 12-thread. If you want to get real fancy, you could go to the 12600 and get the efficiency and performance cores, but raw performance cores are going to be real nice with this 4070. That sounded real redneck.
Get raw.
It's going to be real nice. Hold on now, man.
Oh wait,
hold on
cooler.
there.
I'm so sorry. I got excited about the
Hold on now. We got a cooler for real cheap. Now this does come with a stock cooler, but we decided to go with a little bit higher in cooling situation with the ID Cooling SC214XT ARGB, because we got ARGB fans. It's going to match really nice, and yeah, it actually does allow for quite a bit more headroom, even though it's only like a $20 cooler. For the motherboard, we have this ASRock Pro B660M RS, and that's a pretty decent board for the price. I mean, usually under $100, and it has some nice features. I mean, you get some RGB on it, you get 4 RAM slots, 2 4-pins for the CPU, meaning you could go with something like an i7 if you wanted to, so it has an upgrade path, and 13th gen ready, right here, 13th gen ready.
You found it.
Now for the RAM, we have Silicon Power RGB Zenith DDR4 3200, there it is, 32 gigs of RAM. So yeah, 32 gigs now. I mean, in a $1,200 build, we used to tell people 16, plenty, like use the extra money towards anything else, but RAM is so cheap now, it's like, why not go with 32 gigs? And hey, we're playing a lot of games that are actually starting to utilize 16 or more. Speaking of just stuff being so cheap, why not? We have a 1TB Gen 4 NVMe M.2 SSD from Silicon Power. That's what that Gen 4x4 means. So that means extra fast, the fastest read and write speeds you're going to find in the market right now, at least until Gen 5 comes out. But yeah, once again, super cheap right now, why not? Was Jonah fired? He'll be here soon, hopefully. Unless he quit. Yes. If he quit, then there's not really much we can do.
It's all over now. This right here is the Asus TUF RTX 4070. Now, this is a 3-fan model. You can get a wide range of different models, but this one right here on Newegg is a pretty good price right now. We have the Zolman Gigamax 600 watt power supply, 80 plus bronze. It's a solid unit. 600 watts will be more than enough for this build, and I really would trust this in most gaming PC builds. Most, not all. We have some sleeve cables from Asia Horse. You don't need to get sleeve cables, but for a build like this with a 4070, I was like, heck yeah, use the sleeve cables in here to make this thing look nice and clean. Now our case right here, which I'm like pretty confident is gonna work, is our 205 mesh. Now, this is solid. The Gigamax is a pretty good power supply. We've used these before in builds, and this isn't something that I'm worried about in this build, really. This build is gonna be around $1,200 if you build this yourself. This one will be sold at ToastyBros for a good price. I put $1,350 for this one. Joke didn't make any sense to me. Before we proceed.
Make sure it fits.
Before we shall proceed.
That'll be a fun little pivot where we'll be like, alright guys, we're gonna grab a different case.
Got the Trace 3 RTX, that's on my RTX.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a lot smaller than that.
Oh yeah. That's small.
Big.
Oh, that's the fitment, bro.
Is that fitment?
That's fitment right there.
No AIO in this one.
No, that's fitment. It's kind of cool. Look, you see, look at that empty space.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh.
It looks good.
It looks nice though. Ain't she pretty, guys?
The one thing that sucks about my build at home is I am limited to any card I get has to be 2-fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I shouldn't have. The way that I designed it was like, I think it was around the 2080. That 2080 Super just happens to be a 2-fan.
Yeah, my K, I probably, in mine at home, I could probably fit like maybe this would be the biggest I could go, maybe. Because like my AIO's up front, it's an H510 Elite, so it's kind of like, because I was also saying, it's like, me personally, with the games I've been playing, I'd really just, I don't even want to upgrade my whole system, I would just like, get a slightly better GPU, but, you know, I'm not that desperate for it right now. I have a 5000D, I could let a family move into that thing. I'm sure you could. Jonah!
Inflammation, cut out sugar and carbs. I don't really think that really does that.
I really don't even consume sugar much. I mean, I do consume a decent amount of carbs, but not like...
You have to understand, Jedi, that's me.
I don't really consume sugars, really. Yeah, prednisone has like a horrible taste to it. It's a pill, but it's like, it has a weird taste. Not meant to taste like candy. Well, yes, it's not meant to taste like candy, but there's like certain like pills that leave like a weird aftertaste in your mouth.
Is it one that like, are you supposed to just swallow it, or is it actually like you...
You just swallow it, but it leaves an aftertaste. It's like,
Is it sugar?
It's like bitter. No.
Oh, I wonder if they bitter it on purpose, maybe.
Candy sweet. Let's make that a video on Toasty DIY. Matt conquers his allergies, and I just go and like touch a horse, go into like a specific flower garden that I'm allergic to. Yeah, I trust you, Peculiar Stain. Dr. Stain is on duty.
Oh God.
Dr. Stain.
I would leave the room if Dr. Stain just walked in and said, I'm your doctor, Dad. Dr. Stain. I'd be like,
Dr. Stain. That GPU cable, so ugly. GPU cable? What?
You haven't even seen nothing yet.
What are you talking about? It's gonna be like the most stealthy build. Like, I don't know how it could be ugly.
It's gonna be a sleeper, honestly.
Oh, honestly, bro. There you go. That's not screen.
It is with Jake. Jake Gyllenhaal. So does the 4070 pull less wattage than the 3070 at full load? I don't know for sure, but I would almost guarantee yes. Yeah, I would say the 4070 is probably a lot more efficient. Most 3070s need 2 8-pins. The 4070 uses 1 8-pin, which is like what a 1650 Super uses.
It says minimum system requirements, 1 8-pin connector.
Yeah, now with the number that Matt's gonna read you guys, by the way, guys, is
their safety rating.
That's like their safety rating, meaning if you were to pair this GPU with the highest end CPU on the market, like an i9 13900 or a Ryzen 9 5950X3D, like the absolute power hungry monsters, that's what they're giving you the safe wattage.
NVIDIA's is a 650 recommendation.
So they say 650.
Yes. That
would be if it was with an i9 or like a Ryzen 9. We're doing it with an i5 that I think is like 65 to 100 watt probably. Is 850 watt too little for a 4090? Now, that's definitely, so that's a weird gray area because the 4070 is like what, a $500-600 card.
Yes.
4090 is the most top of the line, most expensive one. That's a point where like, you know, no, I think you'd be fine with an 850 as long as you don't have like an i9 or Ryzen 9.
You're spending all that money anyway.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. If you're gonna spend that much money, I mean, this is a $1,200 build. This makes sense with a 600 watt. If you're spending what I presume will be $2,000 plus, I would probably spend an extra 50 on your power supply and just get like a 1000 watt. Get one that also comes with the 16-pin, the new 16-pin connector.
Oh no, I don't think we did. Because that one was the 4070 with the
7700.
7700.
And I imagine the 7700 probably pulls a little less than the i5, but probably not much.
Just crazy. These are just a marvel.
That's a good question. What resolution is best for the RK770? Well, it's up to you. I mean, me personally, I know Matt, I know Zach, I think even McAllister, we're all in the same boat. We really like 1440 because it runs only slightly. It's only slightly more hard to run than 1080p, but you get a lot more screen real estate. So when you're just like in Windows and stuff like that, it looks a lot better. You can fit so many more icons. It's a lot less pixelated. Like you can see a lot of the less of the pixels because they're more dense. And then on top of that, yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. Anyways, chat, how many? We'll do another friendly bet. How many PCs that we're actually using? So like between ToastyBros and PCBros, not ones for sale, do you think we have in the office right now?
Give me a number.
And if we finish this build in time, I'll literally go count for you guys. Right. So between 17 and 20, that's currently how many PCs we have. Pretty much like, at least I would say they all get used at least a few times per week is about 17 to 20.
GPU's propped up.
Real question is, how many of y'all are Team Green or Team Red? I would say most of us here are probably kind of somewhat towards Team Red, but we're a very unbiased company for the most part. Like, at least that's the kind of image that ToastyBros has painted. We don't really care a ton about brands or anything. We really just care about what's the best bang for buck and who kind of has the consumer in mind the most in this very moment. And it changes all the time. I mean, I'd like to think AMD for the last like really 6 years has been very much focused on that, but they have made a lot of money, and so there's been times where they definitely pivot back and forth between, you know, seeming like they really care about the consumer and kind of seeming like they're there for the money. I'm really digging Red. Yeah, no, they're both good. What's Team Green and Team Red? So NVIDIA and AMD. Really, we're talking about graphics cards mainly. You could always throw Team Blue in there at this point. We should throw Team Blue in.
Should, they are part of
Which
it.
right now, I do like Intel a lot. Now I'm thinking about it. I really like their CPUs and their new GPUs. They're awesome. So it all depends on, do you know, is your pump in the block or is it in the radiator? It should be really obvious, by the way. If it's in the radiator, you know, you'll have that big aluminum grid and there will be a big chunk in the middle that has a wire coming off of the... Updated the games the day before the giveaway stream. That's usually what we do. We usually update them the day of, but actually we usually update them during the stream half the time.
No one knows it.
Ding dong. Ding dong.
Let's see here.
I was worried. Like, does she not work?
Give me another non-functional. Who is walking through?
Hi. Your Uber drop you off on that side?
No.
I didn't have a key, so I was waiting on you to unlock the door. Do we get the I'm in text? Who was bullying Jonah? I need names. Me. Oh! Jonah had a train.
You had a train?
Really?
What?
He said, I'll be there in 10. There was a crazy train in front of my house.
Oh my god.
In front of his
In
house.
front of his house.
I don't know. That sounds unbelievable.
There's definitely not a train realist. There's one that drives by there, but it doesn't block anything.
No, I did a little teaser intro for that RX 470, and I was like, guys, let me tell you a little secret. You don't need these new graphics cards. Yeah, all you're doing is playing League of Legends, WoW, and CS.
Why are you calling me out?
Yeah, you don't need it.
I don't even know. Alright guys, we're sending off on a raid to XZYS. We'll be live Sunday for the gaming stream. Peace out.